Well, hello, friends. I'll give just a moment for everything to settle and everyone to get on while we do that. Up close and personal with you. My name is Karen, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios in Vermont. A beautiful autumn day. I think I've mentioned Ganesh before, our beautiful remover of obstacles. And I share him with you again today because as we transition into the autumn season, the autumnal season, even with its beauty, sometimes there are some obstacles that we perceive or we come up against. And maybe some thinking about Ganesh, or maybe this lovely color, lilac or lavender, or maybe the opportunity to have many hands and arms could be beneficial for you. And with that in mind, if you are viewing this live today, or it is still September or before October 16th, just a note that I am working with Jennifer DiLorenzo Counseling on an autumn retreat in Southampton. Check our social media and shortly on our website, the event is going up. It is the 16th of October in Southampton, Mass. It features tapping, yoga, walking meditation, warming food, qigong. It's in a yurt and outdoors, and we would love to have you. Anyway, today we'll get started. Where you'll go with Anjanayasana, your knee down lunge. We're going to start with a warm up, and yes, indeed, I think I'm toward the end of wearing my sneakers for my my sprained foot. Thank you for letting me know that we are sounding and looking good. We're going to start at the front of our mat. We'll do a standing warm up with a sun salutation A, and then we'll move into our focus because we're going to go a little slow today. Some stretching maybe after the warm up. Starting in mountain pose, front of your mat, feet parallel to the outer edges, hands drop by your sides, palms face forward. Maybe get a little roll of your neck. Drop the chin to the chest. Lift the chin parallel. Take a look over the right shoulder. Even if your eyes are closed, move the chin and the nose toward the right. And then take a nice big breath in. As you breathe out, see if you have a little extra micro movement or more over to the right without hunching the shoulders, squishing the shoulders, or causing pain. I'm going to drop the chin toward the right armpit and reach up with the right hand. Place it on the occipital lobe, that big part of the back of your head, without pulling the head down or pushing the head down. You're just going to let gravity in the way of the hand help you out. If you like, you can reach up with the left hand, bring it to the place where the shoulder and the neck meet. Give yourself a little massage. Maybe all the way up behind the ear. Just finding those little kinks. Imagining maybe the forearms of Ganesh could be helping you out. Removing obstacles, removing our response to those obstacles. And release your left hand down into your Tadasana facing, and drop your head to your chin. Lift the chin again, parallel, and take a look over the left shoulder on a breath out. Pause for a moment. Take another big breath in. Ease into the breath out, twisting the neck a little bit more. And the chin drops toward the armpit. This time, left arm reaches up. Place the palm behind your head. Feel the stretch down maybe into the right thumb, or maybe just the bicep. Then we lift the right hand, giving ourselves that massage on this side, noticing if something feels different than it did on the other side. Not better, not worse, not good, not bad, not positive, not negative, just different. And we drop the right hand, drop the left hand, drop the chin. Lift the chin parallel. Sweep your arms wide and high. Imagine you're an angel opening your wings. Maybe look up at your thumbs. Press your hands together. Bring the hands to the heart. Samastihi. We'll take that again. Hands by the sides. Inhale, sweep wide and up. Exhale, Samastihi. Hands at your heart. Drop your hands by your sides. Inhale, sweep them wide and high. This time, Samastihi, but soften your knees. We'll come into a forward fold over the legs in our warm-up phase. Hang your head a lot. Maybe find a ragdoll. Elbows bend, the hand cups each elbow. Nod your head and shake your head. Maybe a little sway left and right. And if your belly is not in contact with your thighs, allow that to be so by bending your knees more. Release the hands to the earth. Hands can glide to your shins for a half lift. Ardha Uttanasana. You might keep your knees bent here. Belly's drawing in and up. Fingertips or palms press the shins away. And the shoulders come toward the hips. Think about the belly actually buttoning onto a vertebra. Vertebrae. Exhale, release and fold. Unravel all the way to standing. Take your time. That could be a breath out if you have low back issues. Arms sweep wide and high. Press the palms together. Get long on both sides of the body. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Draw the navel in. Exhale a tilt over to the right. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, tilt to the left. See if the heart can lift. See if you can press more energy into the outer edges of the feet. Inhale, arms up. Exhale again, forward fold. Halfway lift, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Once again, we unravel all the way to standing. This time we're going to move into a vinyasa. Arms float high. Breathe out. Hinge at your hips. Fold over your legs. Take your time. Halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step one foot at a time back for a high plank. Sneakers stick. Find your high plank. Feel what it feels like. If you need to go to a downward dog to measure it out, go ahead and do that. We're powered up in the belly, space between the shoulder blades. Drop the knees, untuck your toes, elbows in toward your rib cage for halfway down chaturanga, low plank. We shift the heart forward and up, the bony hips onto the earth for a back bend, and then move into downward facing dog. In your down dog, find movement if that feels right for you. Maybe pedaling the feet, maybe shifting the hips, and then stillness. Hands walk toward the feet. So you're moving to your forward fold at the back of the mat. Take your time. Knees might need to bend. Head's heavy here. Maybe a little sway left and right. You might take another bind, the hands behind the ankles, or yogi toe walk. We find some stillness, halfway lift again, breath out if you have low back issues. An inhale and exhale, forward fold, unravel to standing. Again, you could use an exhale to make that feel better in the low back. Arms will lift high. We'll find cactus-shaped arms. Reach the elbows out. And drop the hands behind your low back. You can interlace your fingers, keep the elbows bent, or you might find it works better to hook the fingers. Or if you have a reverse prayer, you could take that here. Ensure that you're stable in the feet. Lifting up the inner arches of the feet and drawing the tailbone down. Collarbones get wide. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Navel buttons to your spine. And maybe the arms extend so the knuckles come toward the earth. We'll modify a chair, staying in the bind. Sit into chair pose, Utkatasana. Belly in and up. Collarbones open. Imagine you have a block between your knees. And slowly shift to the right foot. Lift the left knee up. Little balance, stay in the chair. Use the belly, use the quad. Drop the left foot down, shift into the left foot, reach the right knee up. Open up the collarbones, draw the foot down. Forward fold over your legs, keep your knees soft. Exhale, hands to the earth, half lift. Breathe out for your fold. Slinky roll all the way up to standing. Arms once again lift high. This time east-west twist, left arm forward, right arm behind. So check the hips. If they really shifted over toward the right, you might twist a little bit less. The hips intended to be parallel to the front of the mat. Not always that easy. Hard in a warrior one as well, although we're not doing warrior one today. Arms come forward. Lock them into the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the other side. East-west pose. Fingers wide, triceps active. We're going to come forward again, both hands in front, and then lift them overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart, in whatever way makes sense for you. Slowly, with mindfulness, make your way to the front of the mat. Maybe this is where you formulate your intention for the remainder of the practice. Once you're at the front of the mat, imagine you are a rainbow, lifting up the arms to create all of the colors and the arc of the rainbow, arms high. And a sunset through that rainbow. A halfway lift and a forward fold. I'm going to take a moment to remove my sneakers now because we're going down to the mat. You're going to glide your left foot way to the back of the mat and then drop your knee, left knee, down to the mat for your Anjanayasana. Shoes off. The beauty of healing. I would not have been able to do this 6 weeks ago. And the left knee down to the mat. Situate yourself so the back toes are untucked. And if you need to place a cushion or fold over your mat under your left knee, do so. But it might be helpful just to tuck the left toes under a little bit to make a little more space so you're not right on your kneecap. The right knee should be over the right ankle. So I'm going to shift mine forward. We're reaching the heart forward, the shoulders toward the hips and the belly in and up. Left fingertips stay on the ground to take a twist to the right. My shoulders are a little cranky today, so I'm going to take the heel of my right hand to my low back. You might lift your right hand all the way up. Fingers like you mean it. Each breath in, spine long. Each breath out, twist like this, like the navel is rotating around the spine. Press the big toe mound of the right foot into the earth. A lot, a lot, a lot. And on the breath out, drop your right hand to the earth. Get really powered up in the belly. We're going to take a modified Anjanayasana, stacking the shoulders over the hips with the hands by the sides. Very purposeful here, so we're not trying to focus everything on the arms overhead, but rather we're going to focus on the low back by tucking the tailbone forward, squeezing the right glutes and left glutes and squeezing the left hamstrings. So now we've got the core working, belly in and up. We've got balance going on. And we're working the glutes. We're powering up the glutes. So hands by your sides. Lift the heart. Imagine there's a beautiful string rising up from the navel right through the heart. It's light. Maybe it's like velvet light. And lifting up and actually feeding the sun with your beautiful energy. Shoulder blades draw together. And now, if balance is an issue, you can move the right foot out to the right. You might also move it forward a little bit. And we start to open up the psoas on the left side, the hip flexor on the left, by pressing the right heel into the earth and the shoelace side of the left foot. So you got all these mechanics going on, creating a beautiful balance, powering you up, providing safety for the low back. And then we lift the arms overhead only if that feels okay for you. Maybe settle in a little bit more to that front hip crease. Back bend, nice strong belly, and the right hand draws to the right hip. We get taller in the torso. Keep pressing the feet into the ground, and on an exhale, tilt over to the right. So we're opening up that psoas a little bit more. We still want to protect the low spine. So activate the belly and squeeze the left glute and hamstring. Sometimes that undoes. Opening up the left rib cage like it's a butterfly. Next breath in, both arms overhead, shoulders right over the hips. We take east-west pose one more time on this side. Arms forward, hands frame your front foot for your half split. The right leg extends in front of you. Maybe you heel toe or scooch it forward, creep it forward. The toes lift off the mat. You might place blocks underneath your hands. And we're aiming here for a long spine. So it doesn't matter how close you get to the shin with your nose or the ankle with your nose. So think about the heart being forward and dragging the mat backward with the right foot. Press the ball of the right foot to the earth and then slowly float it back up. Reach backward with the right hip. Press the ball of the foot to the earth. Keep the shoulders toward the hips. Keep working the belly. Float the ball of the foot up. This time, as we press the foot, we're going to shift forward with the right knee and then take the hands inside the right foot. Heel toe the right foot out to the right and spin the toes away from you. You might, like me, need to adjust your back knee at this point. Left hand stays on the ground. Palm of the right hand comes inside your right knee, taking a twist to the right. If you feel like you need less space front to back, you might scooch that right foot backward a little bit. But you want the pelvis moving forward rather than down. You're not peeling the foot off the mat. People who would like an extra challenge might tuck their left toes under and float the left knee off the mat. You could also take a quad stretch here, bending into the left leg, reach around with the right hand toward the foot. Maybe it catches the foot or the pant leg or the ankle. Maybe it doesn't. The heart is opening, the collarbones spread. We're twisting from the navel. For a full lizard, I'm going to grab a block and place it at its shortest height in front of me. Bring the toes and the heel of the right foot so they're parallel. And then walk the hands forward till the forearms come to the block. You could not do that at all and just have the hands on the mat, or you might bring your forearms to the mat. Spread the space between your shoulder blades, your favorite food spread, peanut butter. Hands will plant. Sole of the right foot comes to the mat. Back toes tuck under. We're going to take a wide-legged forward fold at the front of the mat. So hike up onto the ball of the back foot and send the left foot outside the left hand. You want the feet parallel. I need to take off my socks. They're a bit slippy. In your wide-legged forward fold, you might find a sway left and right. Maybe the knees are super soft. We're going to take the feet almost as wide as the mat, not quite. Left fingertips stay on the earth under your nose. Left knee bends. Heel of the right hand draws to the low back, so the fingers point toward the tailbone, and we lift up halfway. Juicy bend in the left knee so that you can twist over to the right. It's an IT band stretch. If you don't feel it in the outer part of your right leg, you're going to unbend your left knee and or shorten the distance left to right between your feet and or make sure that you're twisting from the navel and not the shoulders. On a breath out, unbend the left knee, bring your right fingertips to the mat under your nose, bend your right knee, left hand to the low back, inhale, half lift, exhale, twist to the left. Noticing what you feel and adjusting as need be. Breathe in. Exhale, both hands to the earth. Heel toe the feet back toward one another. They don't have to touch if that's not for you, especially if you have wonky knees. Make sure there's 2 fists width or 1 fist width distance between the feet. Sink your bottom down, finding your way into a sort of skier's chair pose. Hands by your side, palms face down. Energy in your heels, belly really strong, thighs really strong. We sweep the arms forward and sweep the arms back. Sweep the arms forward, inhale. Sweep the arms back. This time, sweep the arms forward, rise all the way up out of your chair, and then sit back into chair pose. Arms forward. Arms back. Open up the chest, arms forward. Energy in your heels, sit a little bit deeper, arms back. Arms forward, lift up to standing. And we'll do one more set, sit into chair. Arms forward. Arms back. Open up the heart, gather that belly in, arms forward. Arms back. Arms forward. Lift up to standing, arms overhead, and maybe a swan dive, fold over your legs, or you might decide to do your regular fold. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Breathe out, hands plant, right foot glides way to the back of the mat. Get that distance. Let the left knee come right over the left ankle, so maybe you heel toe the left foot out, or forward or backward for that, and drop your right knee to the earth. Untuck your toes. Recheck left knee over left ankle. Yep. Not fully on the right kneecap. Yep. Right fingertips on the mat. Yep. Left arm high. Yep. Untwist the left hand to the earth. Adjust if need be. You know where this is going. We're going to have a modified knee down lunge. Belly works to stack the shoulders over the hips, and the hands are by the sides. I just had my knee pop, but feels okay. I'm going to move my left foot a little more over to the left. Navel buttons to the spine. Right glutes engage, drawing the tailbone down. Right hamstrings engage to support that effort. Hands by the sides, shoulders over the hips, pelvis forward. Gorgeous string of white energy right from the belly all the way up through the heart, all the way to the sun. Direct line. And if at any point, as you know, it's your practice, if it's not working for you, you can adjust. If you need to place something under your knee, fold over your mat, whatever that might be, let that happen. Listen to the body. Arms lift overhead. Sink deeper into your front hip crease maybe. Find your back bend, but keep the low back safe. Left hand to left hip, a lift from the hips all the way to the shoulders. Exhale, a tilt over to the left. Finding extra opening in that right psoas. My right is a little tighter than my left. I feel this a little bit more down into the quad. And I'm pressing the shoelace side of the right foot, the back foot into the earth, and the heel of the front foot also. It's like it's Velcroed to my mat. And the mat is Velcroed to the floor, and the floor is stably connected to the earth. Both arms lift overhead. Back bend. East to west pose, right arm forward, left arm behind. Reach, reach, reach with the fingertips. Reach with the biceps and triceps. Reach with the shoulder blades. We come forward, arms parallel, and half split. Hands frame your front foot. I'm going to shift my back knee a little bit more. Slowly press the ball of the foot to the earth, seeing if you can keep your knee unbent or not changing the bend in the knee, and then float the ball of the foot off. Again, ball of the foot to the floor and float it up. Ball of the foot to the floor, heart reaching forward, not down. Float the ball of the foot up again. Maybe you feel like you're really dragging that mat backward with the left heel. And the ball of the foot comes back to the earth. Hands situate themselves inside your left foot, which you move out to the left, all the way to the edge of the mat. Adjust your back knee if need be. Left toes point to the left. Right hand stays under your shoulder. Palm of the left hand just inside your left knee and thigh. And a twist. Pelvis forward, collarbone open, navel snaps inward. I say snaps. Imagine if you could do that. And a peek over the left shoulder, finding your variation if you did on the other side, or you'd like to play with something. Maybe that is adding challenge with the back toes tucking under and then right knee lifting off the mat. Maybe it's challenge in terms of a quad stretch. Maybe that feels right. Bend into the right knee, reach around with the left hand, and maybe you take a hold of the foot or the ankle or the pant leg, or maybe you don't at all. Maybe it's just the energy of the twist and the opening. Both hands come to the earth. Left toes parallel the left heel. If for lizard you need a prop, you'll find your prop and find your full lizard pose. This time you do peel the inner edge of the foot away from the mat, coming to the outer edge of the foot. Maybe there's a little bit of Ganesh remaining in your head, or maybe it's that beautiful violet color, or I guess it's lilac, kind of hanging around in your mind's eye, softening that left hip. Hands plant, sole of the left foot comes back to the mat, prop removed, tabletop, and child's pose. Knees nice and wide, getting a little kinder to the knees right now. Big toes touch, arms reach long in front of you, and the head rests on something. As the hands walk back toward the hips, you'll lift your shoulders, maybe cross your ankles or cross your ankles, or otherwise find yourself in a seat. Get there whatever way makes sense. We're going to bring the soles of the feet to the earth. The knees point toward the sky. We're going to bring the feet wide on the mat and drop the knees together. We're sort of working to a sandwich for our back bends here, moving in a bit of a twist and torso strengthener, a torso rotation. Knees drop together, lift the heart, and slowly windshield wiper the legs left and right. If it feels okay, you can pause on one side or the other, and if you do that, you'll take the opposite side for a few moments as well. It's finding a little bit of a different shape, a little bit of different muscle usage. And once you've done roughly 5 rounds evenly on each side, I guess a round is a round, it's both sides together. You'll bring the feet a little closer together, maybe even all the way together. Draw the knees together, wrap your arms around your shins, and drop your head. Come back to your intention here. Or maybe return to the remover of obstacles, Ganesh. And consider whether you felt in the first half of this practice, a little bit over half, whether you felt you were facing any obstacles. And acknowledge how you moved through them. And then slowly glide the hands toward the kneecaps as you start to come down to the mat with a rounded spine. Keep the belly strong. See if you can glide the hands up to the thighs. Keep the feet on the mat. Finding your way all the way down to the mat, where we will take a full body pencil stretch. Arms overhead. Legs extend on the mat, only if it feels okay for your low back. And hook your thumb, so you're making sort of a child's very large turkey shape with your hands. Fingers are nice and wide. Arms lift overhead, point your toes forward, breathe in and reach. Front and back, reach. Sip in a little bit more air and let everything go. Soles of the feet glide to the earth. They are hips width distance. They are relatively close to your sitting bones. If you prefer a deeper back bend and you don't have an issue with your low back, you might bring them as close as you can to see if your fingers can tickle your heels. Otherwise, bring them a little forward of your glutes and take a moment to tuck your tailbone upward so the low back is way close to the ground. rather than being able to fit your hand underneath it. Maybe a ladybug could crawl under, but that's about it. Energy into the hands and the feet. Press the shoulder blades to the earth. Draw the navel in and out. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, knees shift forward. Energy shifts so the hips lift off the mat. Press the tailbone up. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the hamstrings. Sneak the shoulder blades toward one another underneath you. If grasping your hands or intertwining your fingers underneath you gives you extra leverage, feel free to take that. But if it doesn't help, no need to do it. Heart lifts sort of toward and beyond the forehead. And we're squeezing the glutes and the hamstrings to take the energy out of the low back. Breathe here for 5. 4, lift the heart. 3, press the floor away. 2, slowly unzip 1 vertebra at a time, all the way down to the mat. Maybe shifting the shoulder blades to allow the low back to rest on the earth. If the body calls for it, maybe just drop the knees to each other, like they're kissing or they're leaning on one another, supporting one another. We'll take 1 more back bend. Situate yourself as need be. If the body is calling for a restorative bridge, you can place a block or a cushion underneath your low back. And we'll find our way back into bridge. Taking our time to let the shoulder blades snuggle together, using the belly, using the gluteus maximus, minimus, and medius, using all the hamstrings, pressing the big toe mounts to the earth. Lift the heart. If you like a variation, now is the time to take it. That could be an ankle crossing above a knee. It could be a leg to the sky. But whatever you do, if it's asymmetrical, follow through on the second side. And we unzip the spine once more. Feet come as wide as the mat. Just like before we came down to the mat, knees touch. Adjust your shoulder blades. Really find as much of the real estate on your back connected to the earth as you can. Roll the tops of the shoulders down toward the mat, so behind you. And gently windshield wiper the legs left and right. When we come to seated, we will take another twist, which will aid in internalizing the twist while eliminating some of the challenge of it. Knees might drop all the way to one side for a breath or 2. And then all the way to the other side, same gig. And once the knees point back toward the sky, gather them in toward your heart. Maybe take the knee you don't normally draw in first. Maybe that's what you do. It's probably too late for that. It took me a long time to say it. Oh, give them a good squeeze, compress the belly, maybe a couple of knee circles in each direction. Just feels yummy. Then we rock and roll forward and backward until we find our way back to a seat. For our twist today, the heel of the right foot is going to come underneath the left glute or thigh. And we'll place the sole of the left foot on the mat. If you're feeling particularly twisty, you could go ahead and take the left foot outside, the left ankle outside the right thigh. We're going to sit up really tall. That's super important. Gather the belly in, and the left hand comes behind your left glutes, pretty close to the body. Don't think of it as a kickstand. Think of it as a guide. So we lift the heart on a breath in. We drop the left shoulder. And on a breath out, a twist over to the left. The outer right knee might not come to the earth. That's totally cool. But keep the big toe mound of the left foot pressed to the earth. That left knee should not be drawing across the front of the body, but rather you have the foot so stable that it becomes your anchor, along with your sits bones. We're going to come front and center. And we're going to bring the hands behind us. I say we're gonna. I don't know if you're doing it or not. And we'll switch the cross of our legs by moving onto the sacrum. So the heel of the left foot comes just under the right thigh, as close to the glutes as you can get it. Sole the right foot to the earth. Right hand maybe like tripodish, syncopodish, with the hands behind you. Maybe that's Ganesh. Big toe onto the right foot to the earth. Lift the heart, drop the right shoulder, breathe in. Exhale, twist. Let the collarbone spread out. Return front and center. And I think because there's so much hips going on today, we're going to take Pigeon. But first, we'll move into a form of either starfish or Baddha Konasana. For starfish, you have a nice big diamond inside the legs. And for Baddha Konasana, the heels are closer to the sitting bones. I'm going to stay upright. It's your choice if you'd like to scoop the belly in and find a fold over your legs. It feels better to my adductors and my abductors today to just stay upright and allow the knees to drop. If you have folded over, gently find your way upright. We'll shift onto the right hip to swing the left leg around behind. Finding our way into Pigeon, you might kneel up onto the right shin. Scoot that left leg as far behind you and straight out of the hip joint as you can. That's going to bring your sitting bones back behind your calf and your right heel. If you can, the right shin is a little more parallel to the front of the mat. And if you're like me, you might need a prop underneath your right glutes if they are lifted away from the mat at all. Maybe you find a little back bend, maybe you stay upright, but oh, it's so yummy to find a fold over your front shin and let your head rest on something. Some people like a block for that because it feels much more stable for them. It doesn't put as much emphasis on the stretchy bits. And over time, as you find your breath, you might find you can come a little bit lower. But we're trying not to sink into the shoulders here, rather creating a little real estate. Maybe by moving the arms forward, you find a bit more softness. Oftentimes, the obstacles that we feel are in our way are obstacles we ourselves create. Sometimes those are obstacles of feeling like fear or jealousy. Sometimes they are obstacles that seem insurmountable in terms of the financial ability to achieve something or do something. Or maybe you feel like someone's holding you back, your boss or a spouse or a friend. But obstacles are not insurmountable, generally speaking. Sometimes we decide that we'll take another route. Sometimes we'll decide that what we were trying to achieve maybe isn't the thing that makes the most sense for us at that time.
And sometimes suddenly the obstacle sort of dissipates. And other times we meditate on it and allow our response to change, which is the only thing we can control.
Hands walk backward. Working our way through the last 6 minutes. Remove any props. Shift onto that right hip. Draw back into Baddha Konasana or butterfly / starfish. Just to shift over onto the left hip, swing the right leg behind. And find your pigeon on this side. Prop if you need it. Long back leg.
Big, full, complete cycles of breath.
Move your hands back toward your hips. Unprop yourself. Come back to your seat. And in your way, whatever way that is, make your way all the way to your back on the mat. Hug the knees in. Drop them over to the left for your twist. Arms come out in a T. Shoulder blades kiss the earth or get as close as they can. Gaze might look over to the right. We'll take 3 breaths here. And slowly we bring the spine all the way back to the mat. Shift the knees over to the right. Gaze flips to the left. 3 beautiful breaths. Bring the full length of the spine back to the mat. Adjust it so it's as straight top to bottom as it would normally be. Shift the hands underneath the sacrum. Knees come into the heart. And we take virtual legs up the wall. Viparita, heels reach. Legs heavy into the hip sockets. Belly settles, shoulders settle. Chin draws toward the chest. And find your way into your final resting posture for Shavasana. Maybe the feet are on the ground, maybe there's something under your knees, or maybe in the fullest expression, legs are long on the mat, feet splay out, palms face up, space between the limbs and one another and the limbs and the body. Big, huge breath in. And out. In Shavasana, remaining for a few breaths with no worries, no concerns. Maybe an image of Ganesh or that beautiful lilac color. Return your awareness to the breath and let it deepen. As it deepens, imagine you are reawakening the body, or maybe awakening it for the first day. And that what you'll see in front of you, once you do open your eyes, which is not yet, is something that warms your heart, something beautiful, something that gives you a smile. Roll onto one side, knees drawn into your heart, and revisit with your intention for practice. Press yourself to a comfortable seat and press the palms together like they found their home at your heart, and the heart energy lifts toward the thumbs, and the thumbs gather inward as if attracted to the compassion right at your center chest. We'll close our practice with a chant of Om. If you prefer not to chant, that is totally cool too. You can imagine Om kind of riding silently out on your breath. We do this to share all of the merit of the practice outward to those in need. And that allows us to retain some for ourselves as well. Big breath in. Thumb knuckles connect right at the center of the forehead. May all beings be happy. May they be freed from suffering. May they find ways around, over, or through obstacles. Namaste. Terrific to practice with you, whether you are live with me today or recorded. It's Memorex. Don't forget about October 16th, retreat in South Hamilton, Mass, on a horse farm, yurt and outdoors. It's 5 hours. Check out saltandsandstudios.com for that. And if you have the funds, please donate. And if you don't, that's totally cool too. We are here for you and hope to see you soon. Choose from 100 or more than 100 videos at any time, a couple meditations, but mostly your 15-minute yoga intermission. See you soon. Have a great one.